Leicester City will get this match underway wearing all blue, defending the goal away to our left in the first half. Manchester City hoping to build on their 3-point lead at the top of the Women's Super League. Yamashita with the first clearance away. Only 2 clean sheets for her so far this season. But Manchester City, the top scorers in the league with 23 goals. And Leicester looking to cause some early problems here. And quickly forward, looking for the run of Eric Stottier, but City will gather once again, and Jade Rose is able to clear, but she's closed down by O'Brien. Eric Stottier with the cross in, but it's claimed well by Yamashita. The former Welsh international, Nia Jones, is alongside us here today.
Yeah, just a bit casual from Rose, wasn't it, in these early stages? Obviously, Manchester City, as we expect, trying to play their way out from the back. It's where a lot of their build-up comes from. So they spend a lot of time on the training ground, but a little warning sign from Leicester, because they will press, they'll pick and choose their moments, but they will go.
Leicester 7 games without a win, following their only victory so far here against Liverpool, as Miedemar was caught there, and the free kick is taken quickly by Nak. And now Kasparai is forward down the right. Thibaut looking to engage her, but Hasegawa with the low ball in, and it's palmed out into a dangerous area, and Shaw with her first shot, and it ripples the outside of the side netting. But City going close already.
Yeah, fantastic combination play from Kasparai and Fagino. She's a little bit underrated in the squad, Fagino, but it's a lot of her good work that makes Kasparai shine. Comes to Bunny short in the form that she in, hot off scoring a hat-trick for her nation, Jamaica, in the international break. You'd expect her here to at least hit the target.
Never quite got hold of it. Leitzing may have been able to get down at the near post. Ale. Cut out initially by Nak, but now Kasparai has it again for Manchester City. And Rebecca Nak, who scored in the derby win. And now Wahabi, and Shaw could be in again here, but the ball just skidding away from her, and Swaby was able to shepherd it back towards Janina Leitzing.
Yeah, Beret not happy. I think she felt like she was pushed in that run that Shaw had made, but Swaby tracked it well.
And now Rose finding Rebecca Nak. Leicester do often rely on their home form. Their last 7 victories in the Women's Super League have all come here. And that's a run going back over 18 months now, as it's brought forward again by Fagino. Now Hemp, Wahabi on the outside. 4 wait for the cross. It's into that near post area, and the shot delivered in by Miedemar, and it's a really good save by Leitzing.
Yeah, it is. She did really well, Miedemar, to get any type of effort on goal, because there's plenty of bodies in the way. As it comes, it's a brilliant touch, the little shift with the right, but it's too central to trouble Leitzing.
Olivia Miedemar, of course, the all-time record goal scorer in the Women's Super League with 90, as O'Brien is just caught there, and Leicester will be able to try and move upfield. But it's been an ominous start for them, and they maybe need to try and retain possession a bit better to try and prevent City from swamping them in those sorts of areas.
Yeah, and they've only managed to score themselves once in the first half so far this season, Leicester City, so they know that they're not the quickest of starters, but then what you can't do is give up so many chances that it builds Manchester City's confidence straight away from home.
City at the other end of that scale, they've scored 11 times in the first half of games, which is the highest tally so far, as Hasegawa wins it again, and Kasparai has got Fagino in support down the right. And again, Kasparai makes that run in beyond, and Eric Stottier has to come back to try and deal with her. Fagino, who has scored so many important goals already this season, now Kasparai. And O'Brien is helping out Eriksdottir here. Just look how many grey shirts are forward here for Manchester City, including Fagino, but it just skips beyond her on the wet playing surface. It will be a goal kick.
Yeah, not sure Thibaut spotted the run either. Fortunately for her, it did run out of play a little bit too much on the through ball, but she is one to keep your eye on. Fagino, her partnership with Kasparai down that right-hand side, so interchangeable.
And Leicester without Jutta Rantanen again today. That's a real blow for Rick Passmore. She suffered another knee injury in the defeat against Brighton, and for a team without a huge amount of depth, they can ill afford to not be without a player of her quality.
Yeah, absolutely, especially up that end of the pitch. That's certainly the biggest area that Rick Passmore will hope to improve on, is their offensive work and the amount of chances they create. And Rantanen key to that, former Finnish Player of the Year just last season, but stifled by injuries of late.
Cleared away by Buriel. And Yamashita is able to advance almost up to the halfway line. Rose, Fagino. She was found by Hasegawa, but once again, Swaby defending well, read that too, just cut across Miedema. And it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, good decision in the end. Hasegawa, too much space though. Leicester midfielders need to get across to close that down, because she's ever so creative if you give her the time.
And the first goal has gone in elsewhere today in the Women's Super League. And Brighton have taken the lead at London City. Kiko Seke with the opening goal there. Of course, Brighton beating Leicester 4-1 in their previous game before the break. And London City Lionesses looking to build on a very impressive run after a difficult start to the season in terms of the teams they had to play. Hasegawa looking for Fagino, but Leicester will clear, but it's Rose striding forward to win it back. Now Kasparai. Fagino just waited on that, and it was won back by Tierney, but Leicester now have their first real opportunity to try and create something. Ale, and she was quickly surrounded and gave the ball away. Fagino. Shaw on the move, but Swaby did well there, and Leitzing doing well to avoid the corner, but she almost gave it back to Bunny Shaw, and she was slightly fortunate there.
Yeah, slightly fortunate, very, very fortunate. There was passing options on for her as well. I know she's being closed down, but two defenders in front of her totally unmarked. If only she'd taken a touch across her body and made it easier for herself, Leitzing.
Well, Manchester City have won 8 games in a row. Arsenal and Chelsea are the only clubs in Women's Super League history to have won 9 of their opening 10 games. And their start now is actually better than the one they enjoyed in 2016 when they went on to win the Women's Super League. Hemp. Now Jade Rose, the Canadian international. Towards Blinkilder. Knack again is given plenty of room. We can hear Rick Passmore telling Julie Thibaut where to go. Now Hasegawa, Fagino. There always seems to be an option for Manchester City. Hasegawa. Now Fagino coming from a deeper area, looking to use her pace. And in the end, it was Swaby who was in the way.
Yeah, just about did enough, Swaby. She danced her way through a couple of challenges here. Fagino often does this, cuts inside. It's a nutmeg on Hannah Kane. Swaby's fortunate because she doesn't actually make contact with the ball. She doesn't actually make that much contact with Fagino either. It's a heavy touch in the end.
Yeah, the ball had gone by the time there was contact. Manchester City with over 2/3 of the possession so far. Miedema looking for Hemp, coming in to make the challenge, and the veteran has done well there. But Hemp characteristically keeping up the pressure, and City do have a throw-in. Leila Wahabi will take it. Miedema. Now Nak. Wahabi again. Former Champions League winners on both sides. Leila Wahabi for Manchester City and Janice Cayman for Leicester. Nak. Wahabi. Hemp just checking her run to stay on side. And in the end, Ale does well to make the challenge. O'Brien. And Tierney going all the way back. Leipzig looking to find Eric's dot here, and she's won the free kick. And again, Leicester need to try and make something of this.
Yeah, good decision from Leipzig to go long, and that's exactly what Leicester need to do. Get themselves up the pitch by putting yourself between the ball and your opponent. There's not much in that from Wahabi, but Eric Stottin knows what she's doing.
Swaby. And the Jamaican international plays it straight out. And Rick Passmore inherited a difficult situation when he became the interim manager. And he was then given a 3-year contract after the opening month or so this season. Listening to him pre-match, he was fairly realistic about what his team could achieve here today, but togetherness is at the heart of everything they need to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's one thing about this team and a Rick Passmore team is that they don't go away and they don't give up, and that goes a long way when you're in a relegation battle. But he's been very clear about what the task is at hand this season, and that is to maintain their Super League One status. So 9th in the league out of 12. He'll be pretty happy with where they're at so far. This isn't a game they'll be targeting to win, but it's a chance for them to build confidence. The longer they stay in this match, or the more good things that they can demonstrate in this match, and hold them in good stead when they play against teams in and around them.
It's actually their second best start to a Super League season. In their opening 2 years at this level, they lost all 9 of their opening games, so that's a significant improvement on that. Here is Rebecca Nak again, and although they are the home team, I'm sure that they're just looking to tick off the milestones every 5 minutes. Here's a sign of progress as City try and come forward now with Hasegawa. Hemp, and it's Cayman who comes across, and it will be the game's first corner, awarded by Phoebe Cross.
Yeah, she's been super tight to Lauren Hemp in these opening 15 or so minutes, Cayman, which is a brave thing to do, because when you're up against a pacey winger like Hemp, it's tempting to drop off a little bit, but not giving her any time so far.
The corner kick is flighted very deep. Leitzing challenging for it, and there was some confusion there inside the 6-yard area. And in the end, it flashes wide from Shaw. And it's another opportunity.
Well, that's a massive chance again. I think she might have left her shooting boots back in Jamaica from their World Cup qualifier, Bunny Shaw, because she's totally unmarked. Nobody in Leicester blue checking their shoulders to see where Bunny Shaw is. Chooses to go near post. And that is usually bread and butter for Bunny Shaw.
We gave you the team news pre-match. And there was a change of official before the game. Anastasia Voloshook, who was due to be one of our assistants here today, has been delayed due to travel issues and has not made the kickoff. So Callum Jones, the 4th official, has stepped up to run the line, and Jeff Eltringham, who is a very experienced referee, many years in the Football League, he is currently the 4th official. And that may change if our planned assistant manages to get here by half-time, but there have been 1 or 2 travel issues up and down the country this morning, and that's had an impact on those in charge of this game, as Knack plays it forward to Hemp. And again, she's closed down, and Ale is trying to double up with K-Man at every opportunity.
Yeah, she doesn't miss or lose out on too many one-on-ones, Ale. Really strong individual defender.
And now Knack. On Wahhabi again. And it was driven in, but blocked once again. And it will be another corner kick. Eric Stottier, the player who was back this time. And City beginning to apply incessant pressure here as they look for the opening goal. And Wahhabi will take this. Rose makes the run towards the near post. It's beyond her. Leitzing doing well to pour the ball away. And Blinkilde will allow it to drift behind for another corner.
Yeah, she did really well, the goalkeeper. She was crowded out on the last corner. It was difficult for her to get a good contact, but everybody's being tightly marked. She comes out, relieves the pressure on her team.
Another corner for Manchester City. And Leicester camped inside their own penalty area at the moment. Hemp's delivery, Thibaut with a good header away. And Hemp looking for the quick restart here. Here's Hasegawa. Hasegawa again. McLaughlin has come across. Blinkilde. There's the opportunity for a long-range effort, but it's wide in the end from Rebecca Knack. How long can Leicester keep defending in this manner?
Well, to be fair, in wide areas, they're doing pretty well, Leicester. They're doing the basics that Rick Passmore would have asked them to do. Tracking run as well, stopping crosses, and they'll be quite relieved to see a centre-back almost give in to the temptation to let loose from distance. She did get a good goal, of course, in the Manchester derby, but that was with her head from a corner. That one, no real danger on Leipzig's goal.
Miedema looking for Hemp, but it's broken up by Leicester. I remember doing a game between Leicester and Arsenal a couple of seasons ago, and it started like this, but then Leicester found themselves 2-0 up at half-time. But things didn't stay that way. Now O'Brien. McLaughlin. It was forward towards Eric Stottier, but was rather sold short by the pass. Shaw. And that's a good challenge by Tierney. And she's got the free kick.
It took a while to decide, the referee. She got contact on the ball first, Tierney, and then Shaw just a little bit late in closing her down. They do well in those moments, Leicester, when they are up and around the halfway line, when they can just secure possession, string a few passes together. It does make Manchester City drop off into their shape. Just the quality of the passes and how the midfield are connecting with their forward players, not quite there yet.
Well, Miedema has a problem here. And it does give Leicester an opportunity to get into the huddle and regroup. At the moment, it may be a case of more of the same. When they start looking at that left knee, there'll always be concern.
Yeah,
doesn't look to be too much in it.
No, just felt a little bit of something, and she has been busy, of course, away on international duty. Scored 4 goals in one game against South Korea, so those knees have been busy. But she has been herself stifled by injury, particularly last season, but she is looking back to her very best, Vivianne Miedema, so this will be a concern for Jeglerts, and he will not want to risk anything.
Well, there were no potential replacements warming up at the moment as they continue to flex that knee. And of course, Manchester City had a number of players at various points of the compass during the international break. Same for Leicester as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what's fascinating about these first domestic matches back after a couple of weeks off, where lots of the players have left their club training sessions. I think 18 were away for Manchester City and 9 were away for Leicester City. So that really disrupts your usual training sessions. Usually you're not quite as fluid when you come back together because you have been apart for a couple of weeks, and it's probably come at a bad time for Manchester City, who are in really, really good form prior to the international break.
Well, Miedemar making her way off to this near side, which does suggest she will be coming back on. But Leicester have got through 20 minutes here without conceding, which I'm sure they will regard as a real positive for them. And Jeglerts has seen this side create opportunities, but so far Janina Leitzig has not really been tested. Leicester restarting from the free kick, which is headed away by Knack. Gino doing well to avoid the corner kick. Thibault, and now she's won the corner. First for Leicester.
Yeah, really quick thinking by Leicester City. I think Manchester City were expecting it just to be crossed in. Hannah Kane, nice little dink, and it was a good header actually in the first instance from Knack. Had to make it. Miedemar frustrated that she's not been invited back onto play yet. Now she has.
Leicester without a shot so far. Manchester City have had 5. And that header towards the near post is wide as Vivianne Miedemar made her way back onto the field.
Again, I think just trying to take it quickly to catch out. Manchester City were waiting for Miedemar to get into position. Good run across the front post from O'Brien. Difficult angle, though, for her to get anything on target from there. She was beyond the front post.
And that was Leicester's first touch inside the Manchester City penalty area so far, which tells you how the game has been going. But we've reached the midpoint of the first half and no goals. Manchester City, the top scorers, but they have had to rely on a number of single-goal victories so far, and they do have that patience to go very late into games if they have to. But Leicester applying the pressure here, and they've won the throw-in.
A really good high press. There was 5 Leicester players crowding out. Hasegawa tried to play themselves out of it, but they got the reward, Leicester.
Eriksdottir. It's a decent ball in, but no blue shirt waiting. But now it's won back by Tierney. Cayman's long-range shot was comfortably blocked, and now Hemp can bring it forward for Manchester City. And behind, looking for Shaw, but covered well by Cayman.
Yeah, she got her distances bang on again. Alice Cayman, wouldn't expect anything less. Champions League winner, over 150 matches for Belgium. They're heavily reliant on her experience and intelligence in this team.
Rose. This is where Leicester really retreat as a group. But it's in towards Hasegawa. Square to Shaw. Miedemar in support. They're further back towards Wahabi. And now Hemp. And the cross deflected off Cayman, almost falling for Miedemar until it's eventually scrambled away by Cayman, and it will be another corner.
Oh, it's the little run from midfield from Hasegawa. Just got the wrong side of McLaughlin.
Rick Passmore has spent much of the first half urging his defenders to get tighter. Now Hasegawa from the short corner. Will be recovered by Blinkilde. Gino in support. But here is Kasparai. And it's very deep. Cleared as far as Hemp. But recovered well. And Hannah Kane, who was on the score sheet for Wales against Switzerland during the international break, she can bring it clear. Now Ale.
Yeah, and really good from Kane not to just give in to the temptation to relieve pressure and boot it up the field. That would have just set up another Manchester City attack. She secured possession, slowed the tempo down, found a teammate, and now they're on the attack, Leicester.
Ale, well, she's quick, but not quite that quick.
Yeah, and there was an overload on the right-hand side. It's a tough ask these Leicester City wing-backs have got. They've got to be back into a back five when they're on defence, but they've got to be up there providing the width on attack as well.
Olivia McLaughlin, the player we saw there, just grimacing briefly as Hasegawa has got time to find Rose. Now Kasparai. Very quickly Manchester City turn defence into attack. Kasparai in towards Shaw, but it's really good defending from Burial again. And the organisation will be key for Leicester at the moment. Cayman. Blinkilder. Kasparai. Hasegawa. Fujino. Blinkilder. Time to look and see what the options were. In the end, the cross is guided away.
Oh, it's fascinating to hear the insight from Rick Passmore. You've got to ask me, Nigel, what I'm wondering what he's thinking. He's literally telling us, and he is playing this game as if he's on the pitch.
Now Fujino. And here's Thibault. She's lost out to Kasparai. I think the basic message is get back.
Yeah, it is, and it's him that's often first to spot those runners from the Manchester City midfield. I think for me, it should be coming from the players on the pitch. Those back three in particular, they can see just as much as what Passmore can see, as can Leipzig. So it should be them we can hear as loud as him. But if that's what it takes for them to check their shoulders and go with the runners and adjust their body shapes, and so be it for now.
Hemp. Nice body swerve from her to initially evade Ale, but she comes back to make the challenge, but it will be a throw-in for City. Knack. Driven long beyond Shaw, but Fujino will be quick enough to recover this. Thibault has gone out to meet her. Fujino able to deliver the cross in. Hemp doing well to rise, but she can't guide it into the path of a teammate. Now it's been given away. Hasegawa, so good at recovering the ball in that sort of area. She now makes the break into the area. Hemp's cross nearly found Shaw. Fujino, Hasegawa, but there is Cayman. Now Wahabi just took a deflection, and there's time for Tierney to clear, but a bit of a slash at that, and Manchester City have it straight back with Knack. Hasegawa. Hemp finding Wahabi. That's a good header away by Swaby, and O'Brien looking for the run of Kane, but it was Yamashita who was almost on the halfway line again. Here is Kasparai. And again, Miedemar was the target, but it will deflect behind off Swaby for another corner to Manchester City.
Yeah, it's a little bit of surviving over thriving for Leicester City at the minute, but I have to say, more often than not, it's Leicester City defenders that are getting first contact on anything that Manchester City put into the box. Really commanding headers out. It's just the next pass that they're not quite getting right, Leicester, which is setting up another attack from the away team.
Hemp. And now Kasparai. Blinkilder. Oh, it's very deep. Knack was almost in there, so too was Wahabi, but Ale with the crucial touch for Leicester. Hasegawa. Ale with the header away this time. Blinkilder. 5 City players inside the area. Wahabi. Blinkilder. And Cayman is able to break it up. And she's got the experience just to Wait for the option there, Ale. It's held up well initially by O'Brien.
Yeah, excellent forward play from O'Brien. Started with that woman there, though, as you said, came in, just the experience, just to take the sting out of the clearance, bide herself a little bit of time, and a little breather for Leicester now, because they are really knocking on the door now, Manchester City.
Only one goal elsewhere so far for Brighton at London City Lionesses. No goals between Manchester United and West Ham, or Spurs and Villa. But Leicester have really dug in here, but there's a problem for Erik's dot here. And the medical team will head across to check on her, and the rest of the Leicester team will head over to the technical area.
Yeah, and it'd be a little welcome break for them to have a word with the manager, but Erik's dot here, she did put in a mightily meaty challenge amongst all of those attacks from Manchester City. It was a vital one as well, a vital block that she put in, and she's probably just feeling it a little bit.
But Leicester have worked so hard so far to keep Manchester City out. City with nearly 75% possession so far in the game. But they're not getting too many shots in.
No, and the ones they have had, uncharacteristically, have been off target. Bunny Shaw probably had the best of the bunch. Two from really close range that, yeah, to not even test Leipzig. Maybe a little hangover from the international break for Manchester City, but they're doing really well, Leicester, in stopping the crosses from wide areas. It is frustrating Manchester City. They're being forced to recycle over and over again. They're being resorted to crosses from deep and shots from afar, which will please him.
Well, Leicester have had 2 touches inside the City area. Manchester City have had 22 at the other end, but so many of those have been under pressure. They've not been able to really find the space to create, but there will be a change here for Leicester. Doesn't look as though Erik's dot here will be able to continue.
Yeah, not a bad replacement to bring on. Hugely experienced Australian international Van Egmond, surprisingly out of the lineup today, but probably down to the hefty travel that she's had to do in representing the Matildas in the last couple of weeks. But it's a shame for Erik's dot here. She's worked really hard, especially getting back, tracking runners, helping out a defensive line.
And you can see the disappointment for her. Van Egmond, the only Leicester player to score a winning goal in the Women's Super League this season against Liverpool. But real experience. She's won honours in Germany, Australia and the United States. And rather like Janice Cayman, she's the sort of player that Leicester City have been able to rely on to keep their heads above water at the wrong end of the WSL. It's back with Yamashita, who has had long spells of inactivity in this game. City haven't scored. Asagawa. Now Hemp. Wahabi. It's another deep cross from her, and Shaw's header over the top. Well, she's scored more headers than anyone else in the Women's Super League so far this season, and maybe she should have scored there.
Yeah, and it's brilliant build-up, in fairness. Ale just goes a fraction too late to be able to compete with Wahabi, and she's so prolific in the air. She does really well, actually. She's under pressure from in front and behind from her international teammate Swaby. She's at full stretch, just can't angle it down into the top corner because Leipzig was rooted to the spot.
And do you think it's a benefit for Swaby to be up against Shaw today? Because, of course, she's played with her, but also played against her on training grounds, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you play against somebody, whether that's in training or matches, the less the fear factor becomes. She's such an intimidating player to play against because she's so versatile, so prolific, can score all sorts of different goals. So the fact that She's done it time and time again in international training, but she'll also know that she's just a person with 2 arms and 2 legs, and she has her flaws as well, and she probably gets frustrated in the same manner that other players do. It's a fascinating battle to keep your eye on.
So Van Egmond has come on to replace Eric Stott here. Not playing in her usual role here, slightly further up the field at the moment. Hemp, Hasegawa. Now Knack. Hemp again. Well, they took that one in the face. Well, we saw Stina Blackstenius control the ball with her face and then score in the Arsenal game yesterday, but that's a painful one for Ale there.
Yeah, a little bit more pace on that one for Ale to take, and she would never shy out of blocking across, as we've said, and they definitely have planned on doubling up in those wide areas, and rightly so, up against the talent of Lauren Hemp, but that is square in the cheek.
That was fizzed in by Lauren Hemp, it really was, and it's a very cold day. You can see Cayman and Tierney, two of the more experienced players in this Leicester team, deep in discussion as Ale receives treatment.
Well, she's a tough cookie. Spoke in the week about being the proud daughter of a former Gurkha soldier. Still in the family home, they share the treadmill. Really strong work ethic.
She's someone who's really developed her career after coming in as a young player with Tottenham. And I wonder if Andre Jeglert's maybe slightly frustrated at the moment because his team are dominating, but they're not really creating.
No, they're not. And yeah, he's having a little word with Blinkilde Brown, because it is those types of players in the midfield that can really unlock this often low block for Leicester. The timing of their movements. And the opportunities for through balls when they're on, because they're not on for very long. In fairness to Leicester City, they're getting across and closing off passing lanes really, really well.
And very important now for Leicester to get to half-time at least on level terms. And the opportunity to regroup and also reset. City have produced goals from everywhere so far, but it's not quite happening for them so far today. And the action areas really tell you just how much Manchester City have dominated. Wahabi. We have had 2 lengthy stoppages during this first half, so there will be plenty of added time as well. Kasperite unable to keep the ball in play, and maybe City are just slightly guilty of forcing it at the moment as they look for this opening goal.
Yeah, and that was a pretty simple pass that you'd expect Blinkilde Brown to nail in her sleep out to Kasperite's feet. No need to put her on extension at all.
City have scored 11 times in the first half of games this season, but no real sign of number 12. 1 or 2 near misses, but Leicester really packing that penalty area. There's not really been the room for players like Shaw and Miedemar to produce their magic. Leicester looking to build something themselves here, but it's quickly won back in towards Miedemar, but she loses out. Van Egmond. And here is room for Ale to deliver the cross. It was a good one, but guided away by Knack. Hemp. Oh, and she's away from Cayman, and this could be a problem here for Leicester. Shaw and Miedemar in the centre. Miedemar just takes a tumble off the ball. And it was seen by Phoebe Cross. Miedemar is having words with the referee as play continued, but then Wahabi was fouled by O'Brien.
Yeah, whatever happened, it was out of the sight of the referee, but how well does Cayman do to get back? Because the bit of skill from Hemp in the first instance, many players would have just let her go. focused on recovering back into the box, but she made ground on her, Cayman. No, Brian, that's not a bad foul to give away because they were in scramble mode, Leicester.
Hasegawa is over this. Once again, Leicester looking to cover all the angles as we tick towards the final 5 minutes of the first half. Driven by Hasegawa, and a loop towards Miedemar, and a great save by Leipzig.
Oh, what a save. And she's getting a deserved applause and congratulations from her teammates. She made herself massive at the near post.
Short corner, Miedemar again. Cleared as far as Kasparai. The nutmeg on the referee, Blinkilde. Now Figino. Van Egmond may have a problem here. Here is Hemp. And Kasparai, and that's a brave block from Ale. And once again, she has gone down. And the referee will just halt play with a Leicester defender doubled up inside the penalty area.
Yeah, and Manchester City probably frustrated because she doesn't have to stop the play if it's not a head injury, but she gets it really well, Knack to start with, and you just expected the ball to be in the back of the net. But Leipzig's footwork to get across and make herself really big. Save with her leg in the end, especially Miedemar, so dangerous in these types of areas. She can only guide it down and get it on target, but credit to the goalkeeper.
It's a really good set-piece move, but German was equal to it. And it's the first significant save she's had to make in the game.
And in fairness, she's earned her wages this year. She's had to make 39 saves in 9 games prior to this one. Yamashita has made 15.
I think Yamashita will be frustrated that even though she often has games like this, the opposition have tended to score. Knack. Hemp. Worked in towards Wahabi, but again Leicester do well with double coverage, and here is Tierney. High looking for McLaughlin, but again Manchester City managed to mop up every single situation like that. Hemp. Now Rose. Figino makes the run ahead of her, but it's longer, but Ale is able to clear, and she's done well to find Kane. Ale again. Tierney. I'm sure Rick Passmore will be delighted with what he's seen from his team. They have given up so much territory and so much possession, but when they've had to, they've really stepped up so far.
Yeah, and I'm surprised given the way the two teams have set up. Tierney McLaughlin in centre midfield for Leicester City should be outnumbered almost constantly. By the way, Manchester City have set up with Hasegawa, Blinkilde Brown, Miedemar in that 10 role as well, but they're working so hard, Leicester, to get themselves across and go with runners and fill in for each other if somebody's beaten. That I'd be really pleased with the scoreline if it manages to stay the same at half-time.
23 clearances that we saw there from Leicester City. Here's Knack. There was an overload on the right, but it was cleared initially. In towards Miedemar. Shaw beyond Thibaut, and now Swaby, but still short. Swaby with the block, Van Egmond. Gino. And the Ball forward from Hasegawa, not quite precise enough. There is going to be a very hefty portion of added time at the end of this first half. Of course, we've had the injury breaks for Miedemar, Eriksdottir and Arle. There will be a minimum of 8 more minutes. So plenty of time still for Manchester City to add to their tally of first half goals. But this was a game that City were expected to dominate and sweep Leicester aside, and they have dominated, but so far the goals haven't followed.
Yeah, and I think it just shows, doesn't it, when you're on top in a game, unless you're going to take your chances and make it show on the scoreboard, then teams like Leicester will grow in confidence as the match wears on.
Kasparai. Shaw and Miedemar wait in the centre, fisted away by Leipzig. Wahabi. Hem. Wahabi again, that's a good ball. And a good header away by Burial. And then the deflection off Arle. And Manchester City have yet another corner in this first half. They have been the dominant team right from the first whistle. This is their 7th corner. Hasegawa will deliver this. It's cleared as far as Kasparai, who hits it. It's a good block, it's loose. Miedemar is in, but she's very quickly crowded out.
So many bodies in grey and blue in that box for anybody to get a clean sight, never mind strike on goal.
Leipzig getting better distance this time. O'Brien. Konak will have to play this. Yamashita had time because she knew that Kane was the only Leicester player in the vicinity. Blinkilde. Kasparai quickly finding Fujino. Hemp was unmarked for a moment, but here is Kasparai. Blinkilde. Now Wahabi. Nice challenge, but straight back to Hasegawa. Hemp. Well, that's a good cross. Shaw challenging, but it was really good defending in the end as well.
Yeah, just did enough. Again, a little Leicester sandwich on Bunny Shaw. They know how dangerous she is, particularly in the air in the 6-yard box. They're checking their shoulders constantly. Beret and Swaby just do enough to put her off, but still you'd expect Bunny Shaw usually to be able to guide that on target.
Celeste Burial with some really good defending there. She's another Leicester player who has come back from injury recently, and they've really benefited from her experience.
I think that latest Manchester City attack just came from Hannah Kane going on her own and pressing. If she's going to go, it needs to be because she's a trigger and everybody else follows. If they're not going to go with her, then she needs to be called to just stay, because
there's a massive gap.
Yeah, huge.
Julie, stay.
Well,
Julie's
hear what
being
Rick
told.
Passmore said. Julie Thibault is getting a coaching one-to-one in this first half. I'm sure she'll be glad to be on the other side of the pitch in the second half.
I bet Rick Passmore's dogs are really well trained.
Yeah, they can be off the lead in the park all the time.
Recall is fantastic.
We're only halfway through the added time here, and I'm sure he'll be very keen to hear the half-time whistle with this situation. Hemp. Owen Cayman with an air shot. City do have the throw-in. Shaw was making the run off her, but Hemp going all the way back. Now Blinkilde. Virginia.
Go with the rubber band. Well done, Marker.
Kanak. Harvey. Leicester pulled everybody back once again. Rose. Burial with the clearance. Wahhabi. Van Egmond. It's a good turn from her. And the free kick conceded by Rose. And once again, she was aware that Leicester did have a potential counter-attack there.
Yeah, really good forward play from Van Egmond. That's exactly why she's on the pitch, is to hold it up for a team, to wait for support, to win fouls.
Jade Rose, one of the players in the City team that hasn't scored in the Women's Super League so far, but she has netted in the League Cup. The City will be away to West Ham in the quarter-finals. Leicester unable to make progress. They lost 3-0 at home to the WSL 2 side, Crystal Palace, which would have been a disappointing result, albeit with a rotated team. McLaughlin, Shaw, strong enough to ride the challenges. And again, Hemp was in so much room, but it's Vigino. Thibault isolated here again. Vigino's cross, Shaw, off target yet again.
Well, it's the first time in the match we've seen her actually drop deep to try and get on the ball, Bunny Shaw. Probably a little bit frustrated with the touches that she has had so far. And uncharacteristically off target, but for Gino, you could hear Passmore willing for somebody to get over and help the fullback try and stop the cross, and it's pretty much a free header for Shaw. It is slightly above her. It's not the easiest of chances.
Well, there we are. 4 efforts, none on target so far. Wahhabi into the final minute of the 8 minutes. At the end of what has been a first half of defensive durability from Leicester. Miedema. Oh, brilliant play from her. She can sweep into the area. And again, Leipzig is equal to the effort.
That was a wonderful bit of skill, wasn't it? Took out 2 players in one move. Slows it right down, back to goal. Look at this bit of skill from Miedema. And then she's kept Leipzig honest, not once but twice at that near post.
Not too many people nutmeg Janice Cayman. Corner. It's cleared again. Hemp, maybe one final chance at the end of the first half. But there's the whistle. And 45 minutes of total frustration for Manchester City. They've absolutely dominated this game. Vivian Miedema forcing 2 excellent saves from Janina Leipzig. Bunny Shaw has been uncharacteristically off target so far. And as a result, at half-time, it is Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. And it's Manchester City who have got the second half underway. They are in the grey shirts, attacking the goal to our right-hand side. Here is Vigino. Leicester forced into one change in the first half, a hamstring injury for Glenn Eriksdottir. So we saw Emily Van Egmond step off the bench, move into a midfield role rather than the customary position at the back. And at the moment, she is the furthest player forward for Leicester City. Nia Jones is alongside me once again, and can we anticipate more of the same?
Yeah, I think so. They did a lot of good things, Leicester City, stopping the crosses, or even if they did eventually get swung in, they were very often the first to react, the first to clear it. It's just that next bit. How can they secure possession? How can they set up themselves for any type of attack? Because Yamashita so far totally unthreatened.
Swaby with a touch there, which put Thibaut under pressure. Fujino had a swing, so too did Kasparai. And it's scrambled away by the Foxes for a Manchester City throw-in.
Oh, less than convincing on that occasion. It was pretty close to Leipzig. I wonder if defenders were expecting her to come out and claim this one.
Maybe readying a long throw here from the captain. Manchester City's grey shirts reflect the reputation Manchester has for heavy rainfall, and they're very appropriate here today. As it's cleared away, Wahabi. Now Kanak. Hemp. Spinning away from the challenge and finding Hasegawa. Hemp, well, that's a nice turn, but she turns into the reel. And again, Leicester are able to get the ball clear. It's half-time now in the game between Manchester United and West Ham. And 1-0 to United is the scoreline, thanks to Elizabeth Turland. Kasparai unable to control there, and she's done well to keep that ball in play and force the challenge from Kane and keep Manchester City on the attack. Fujino. Now Rose. And Kanak finding Rose again, and you can just see that Leicester back line, which has been incredibly well drilled so far. Hasegawa, they're very happy for her to have the ball in this sort of area. And they really are defending the penalty area. Kanak. Now Hemp. Blinkilder. The challenge came in from Cayman. And then the cross is deep, beyond Shaw. Thibaut with the header away. And Fujino doing well to apply some pressure there, but here is Kane showing too much of that to Miedema.
That was an excellent header from Thibaut. Did really well to flick it up and over the incoming Fujino at the back post.
Shaw. Swaby's been drawn out of the centre here. Shaw on a complete miss kick, but it falls kindly for Wahabi. More desperate defending. Hasegawa, Fujino. And now Kasparai. Once again, she's shown the route inside and takes it. Rose. Blinkilder waiting for Fujino, but she's the decoy this time. Onale, well, I think she was slightly fortunate, but it turned out well for her. And now Leicester will try and break. McLaughlin finding Kane, but she's very quickly met by Yamashita.
Oh, excellent positioning from Yamashita, who's had next to nothing to do for about 50 minutes, but she had to be alert, she had to be high up the pitch because all the Manchester City outfield players were camped out in the Leicester City penalty box, and you can just see the potential, and she wouldn't have been offside because she started in her own half, Kane. So vital Yamashita made that interception.
She really has been the sweeper keeper so far because there's been so much room, but here is Van Egmond looking for O'Brien and had to be cut out by Rose, and now Wahabi back towards Yamashita again. Kanak. Blinkilder. City are able to play their way through once again. Fujino. Kasparai. Kasparai once again coming in field, and City have been their most effective when they've looked to go around the sides. Blinkilder. Hemp. And she's got the free kick. And will a set piece give Manchester City the opening goal here.
Yeah, it might be what they have to rely on. It's almost balletic from Hemp, the way that she receives the ball in these little pockets. She's drifted inside so far in this second half, and she's proved dangerous as well, because slightly mistimed dangle of the foot and you are just always going to give a foul away, and this is in a really dangerous position with some really, really technical dead ball specialists in the Manchester City team.
It was Cayman who made the challenge, and Hemp is over this along with Ioba Fujino. And Fujino doing a very good job, if she is the decoy, of trying to create the confusion for Hemp. Well, she's enjoying herself anyway at a key moment in the game.
Didn't need the rain graphic on the shirts, as you said, did they? Didn't have the real thing here at the King Power.
Fujino and Hemp over the free kick here. And it's Fujino who curls it, and it's too high. And it was Hasegawa who struck it in the end.
Yeah, it's difficult to get up and over the wall if that's the side that you're going to target, because it's pretty close. She does have the ability, Hasegawa. It's been a standout in this Manchester City team so far this season.
But Leicester survive once again. Hasegawa does have 3 goals initially. Here is Fujino. And now Hasegawa. Hemp. And that cross is deep, but Leipzig gets there before short. And the frustration continues here for Manchester City. And you just wonder when they'll go to the bench.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll be panicked. You know, 90 minutes is still a long way to go. And Jegler spoke in the week about how difficult he knew this challenge would be, and his test was whether his players could get just as up for this type of match against a team around the bottom of the table as they do for those big derbies towards the top of the table, where everybody's challenging for the title and the Champions League positions. And they have looked a little bit laboured, but here's a little opening for them.
Fujino now finding some space, and the cross cleared away by Baril initially, and then second time around as well. Blinkilder, it's allowed to bounce. Hemp on the turn, never got hold of it. Nale steps in before Miedema. Kasparai, and it's beyond short.
I think so far the crosses that are coming in from Manchester City are just, they're not aiming for a teammate as such, they're just crossing it into an area. And if they haven't learned so far, I think there was 33 crosses came in from Manchester City in the first half. There were 16 headed clearances from Leicester City players. That's not the tactic, I don't think, that's going to break the deadlock so far. They need to keep the ball on the floor, do what they do best. Link up play with the number 10s. Combination play between the fullback and the wide players.
They've rather been flighted in, which has given Leicester plenty of time to engage them. Here is Hemp, low in towards short, and Baril is able to clear.
It's just whether Leicester can maintain this level of concentration for at least another half an hour. It does take a lot of discipline, a lot of communication, a lot of running as well.
And we have seen Manchester City win games late in the day against sides from all areas of the Women's Super League. Hemp. And it's cleared away by Baril. She's had an excellent game so far alongside Swaby at the back.
Yeah, that's better though. Lauren Hemp just spotting the cutback opportunity as opposed to just firing it into the 6-yard box.
Scoop forward towards Hasegawa. And then once again O'Brien is back. And the match stats really tell you the story. 17 attempts now for Manchester City. 3 so far in the second half, but only 3 on target. Rose. Blinkilder. Hemp. Looking to create the space, almost found for Gino. Here is Kane for Leicester. Looking to use her pace, and she's beyond Miedemar. And Kane can continue here. And she played maybe the most ambitious ball available to her, looking for Thibaut, and it's Blinkilder who brings it away.
Yeah, and she did have support as well. She did brilliantly in the first instance, Kane, to ride the challenge of the recovering Miedemar. There were bodies up in support for her, but as you say, there was a simpler pass on.
Well, City have scored in their last 23 games in the Women's Super League, but they're having to work hard here to try and open the scoring in this one. Rose. Now Kasparai. Hasegawa. Miedemar. Onto that left foot. Knack. Hemp. It slid low, but it's behind Shaw and cleared away by Swaby.
Yeah, and I think frustration is creeping in. You saw it in the body language of Viviana Miedemar then. She was waiting for some movement in behind from, I think, Lauren Hemp. It just didn't come. There is a little bit static play going on now. That's a good switch, though.
For Gino. Miedemar. And now Hasegawa. For Gino. Miedemar. Again, she works it in field with the help of Hemp. And this time it's Tierney who's able to make the challenge. There does seem a reluctance for Manchester City to get the shot away at times.
Yeah, and it is ever so crowded. They're so deep, Leicester. They're a back five and there's a four in front of them, but often Hannah Kane is being forced back into the back line as well due to the movement of Kasparai, which makes it a back six.
Kane chasing here, but she won't get that.
They are the moments, though, where we need to hold Leicester to higher account as well. They are a Super League team. They want to remain a Super League team. When they do win the ball back, and they work so hard to do that, they need to be better in those moments of just connecting a pass to a teammate.
Shaw. At the moment, she is getting very little change out of Baril or Swaby. Two experienced defenders who know their job today. And it's over 5 years since Manchester City were involved in a 0-0 draw in the Women's Super League. A long way to go in this one, but they can't find the breakthrough at the moment. Tierney. Well, that's an interesting ball. Leicester had players forward here, but Rose is able to clear. Blinkilder. So O'Brien with the cross in initially. Now Wahabi. Blinkilder. Hasegawa. McLaughlin looking to force her back. Knack. And it's hammered away, and Leicester suddenly have attacking options here, but Kane unable to hold the ball up, and it was won back by Shaw, who was very deep.
Yeah, nice little play from Leicester, and that is the way they're going to get back into this, is playing forward early. And there has to be runners. They have to be brave. They're working ever so hard off the ball, but they've also got to work hard when they get it.
And it was comfortable for Leipzig.
And she probably looks the most likely. She's been sharp on the right-hand side, as she always is. 21-year-old Japanese international. And she's so good at this as well. She can go down the outside, but she can also cut inside. And it does open up, but doesn't catch it.
And in those tight games, she has often come up with the big goal this season. Now Rose. Hasegawa. Knack. Wahabi. Hemp. Cayman makes the challenge. Glenkilde. And it's hammered to safety by Tierney. And there is movement on the Manchester City bench. Andre Jeglerts will be changing things up very soon. Hasegawa. Fujino. And Grace Clinton is warming up on the far side. O'Brien runs into Kanak.
Rather you than me. Running into Kanak, the German international.
Now Kasparai. It's a good header away by Arla. And she loses out to Knack. Rick Passmore claiming there was maybe a bit more in that challenge.
Oh, there was two close head-on-head contacts. I don't think there's anything malicious in either of them, but Arle is brave, really brave. Well, there was a little arm, and there was maybe a little luck for Kanak as she goes in. It's not a high elbow. You can see why Passmore is protective of his player.
It's a free kick for Leicester, and they're spending more time inside the Manchester City half now than they did in the first half, although it's a fairly small sample. Now Thibaut. Van Egmond, who came on due to the injury in the first half for Eriksdottir. Swaby. Cayman. It's not like her to give the ball away, but Tierney nearly won it back, but here is Kasparai. Everything to her left-hand side, including Fujino, but it was quickly won back. But here is Hasegawa. And Kane making absolutely sure it's a goal kick.
Yeah, excellent tracking back from Kane. She's been busy down this left-hand side in attack and defence. And unsurprisingly, I think Jeglerts has turned to his bench.
Grace Clinton will be coming on, and it's Lara Blinkilde who goes off.
Being replaced by number 6, Grace Clinton.
The former Manchester United player does have a couple of goals this season. She was involved in that deal which saw Jess Park move the other way, and it was Park who scored the winner here for Manchester City last season.
Yeah, and I think he'll be hoping that she just adds a bit of intensity. I'm not seeing a huge amount of intensity for Manchester City. Definitely, a few of their players look tired from the international break. A lot of travel, a lot of minutes. It's definitely having an effect on their speed of play.
Shakira Martinez with an equaliser for West Ham at Manchester United. Shaw. And it's claimed by Leipzig. And that game is 15 minutes behind all of the early kickoffs in the Women's Super League today. But United having one or two issues after getting so many plaudits for their victory over Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. Brought forward by Cayman. And Caroline is also deep in conversation with Andre Jeglerts, so we might see the return of the Brazilian soon as well. "25 minutes to play. It could be a very long 25 minutes for Leicester, but collectively they have been superb so far relative to where they are in the league and where Manchester City are. Swaby. And McLaughlin finding Tierney. O'Brien. And this is a team which has conceded plenty of goals this season, but the league leaders unable to find a way through so far, but Leicester just wasting possession there.
Yeah, and there was a real opportunity. There were 2-on-2, only Kasparai and Rose back. I think it was Kane and O'Brien up. So they're the moments, if they really want to compete, they have to do better in those moments, Leicester.
Only Liverpool have scored fewer goals than Leicester so far. We've seen why they've found it difficult to create, but I think the game plan today was to try and contain, and so far they've managed to do that. Rose. Now Kanak. We will see Carolyn back on the field for Manchester City very soon. And now Hasegawa. And Kanak again. It's won back by O'Brien, but only briefly. And another possibility for Manchester City comes to nothing.
I think she'll be key, Carolyn, because she can beat a player. Wonderful with the ball at her feet, really sharp dribbler. I think because of how well set out Leicester are, they're being really well organised. That might just cause a little bit of confusion and trouble.
Clinton. McLaughlin with the clearance. Van Egmond can't do too much with that. Tierney, and then McLaughlin finding O'Brien. The City fans wanted a free kick, and O'Brien just for a moment was away from Wahabi there. Leicester do have the throw-in.
No, it was very good acting skills from O'Brien, because I'm pretty sure that came off her. Wahabi agrees as well, but created their own luck there.
Miedemar coming off. She did pick up that knock in the first half, then had a couple of really good opportunities. And it will be Carolyn who comes on. First appearance since the 19th of September. And the Brazilian international hoping to try and help City find a way through here, but at the moment they need to defend. Van Egmond. Ale. That's good centre-forward play from the defender, but she's now offside.
Yeah, it's sloppy from Van Egmond because she's so experienced. Ale was always hoping she'd get herself back on side. She was miles off.
Clinton. Here is Rose. It remains a real test of concentration for Leicester, as well as the physical exertions as well. Here is Carolyn. Hasegawa. Fujino has moved into a central role at the moment. Hemp. And here is Fujino. Wahabi. And the header. Again from Shaw, but again it's too high.
Yeah, again, she's pretty far out, Sean. She has to generate all her own power, really. And she does really well to get up and try and guide it on target. And she does get quite a bit behind this shot. But again, Beret so tightly marked. Just a little nudge just to put her off.
But it's another cross that gives Leicester time to set themselves. They're not really being whipped in, are they?
No, and what they'll have done all week in training, I'm pretty sure, is practicing defending crosses coming in from wide. If there's one thing that they're going to be very good at, because they've had to deal with it a lot, it's headed clearances from wide areas. I'm really surprised Manchester City haven't made more of the technical footballers in and around those number 10 positions, overloading the Leicester City midfield.
Kane with the clearance. Missy Goodwin will be on soon. This will be her first appearance of the season. Wahabi, and it's wide. And again, Manchester City forced to go from long range.
Yeah, and that's just the defenders watching their attacking teammates try and try and try again, and actually they try and get in on the act and help them out, but to no avail.
Substitution for Leicester City coming off is number 27.
And it's Shannon O'Brien who will go off, so she won't be getting 3 goals in 3 games for Leicester in the Women's Super League.
Being replaced by number 7, Missy Goodwin.
And Missy Goodwin returns to the field for Leicester City. They've had 2 shots so far, neither on target. Manchester City have had 19, but the key stat is 4 on target, 1 on target since half-time.
Yeah, and I think that's where they've fallen short, not just in this game, but overall so far this season. Some other strikers across the league are probably looking at Miedemar and Shaw with envy at the amount that they score, but it's because of the amount that their team creates for them. Look at players like Olsen of Liverpool. Their conversion rate is 50%. He scored 4 goals from just 8 attempts.
Carolyn. The challenge comes in from Cayman, but it will be a corner. And we have only 18 minutes to play.
You see the impact of Carolyn already, just the speed in which she wants to play with, get the game moving.
Asagawa. And again, it's cleared away. The teams who win titles find a way in games like this. Fujino. Asagawa. And Fujino again. Hemp. Asagawa. Wahabi. Now Kasparai. Kasparai hits it, but Swaby was in the way. And now Clinton. Carolyn. Oh, there's a missed kick from Barril, and the goal from Shaw. And Buddy Shaw finally makes the breakthrough. Leicester City finally crack. And the league leaders, who have utterly dominated this game, now have a goal to show for their efforts.
Well, in fairness, the impact of the substitutes for Manchester City, Grace Clinton and Carolyn, already have upped the tempo in this match. She drifted from the left to the right, Carolyn. It's a little scoop, and it's the first mistake that Beret has made all game. It's so harsh, because when you're playing these top teams, that is all it takes. A swing and a miss. It's a difficult one for Shaw to control. And she's been so wasteful so far in this game that you can see how much that strike means to her.
Her 7th of the season. And this time Leipzig could do nothing about it. And that's a hammer blow for Leicester City. But Manchester City have dug deep. And their number 9 has come up with another big moment.
I'd be interested to see how Leicester City respond now, because their game plan almost out the window. They've been looking to protect that point, and now they're going to have to try and really create something for themselves.
Carolyn into the penalty area looking for Kasparai, and it's right through the 6-yard box.
Well, you can tell she's been watching this game from the bench thinking, when is the manager going to put me on and have a go at this? There's a bit of Brazilian magic on the left-hand side. Ale very rarely gets beaten. She gets beaten not once but twice. Just a little shimmy. It's so subtle, and there should be somebody in Manchester City grey having the easiest goal of the season there.
But Carolyn and Clinton have both made an impact, and that really is the difference. Teams like Manchester City have the depth and quality. And Leicester now have an injury problem. And they are heading for their 9th successive defeat against Manchester City. And Celeste Barril, who has played so well. One mistake, and it could be a really costly one.
And credit to Shaw, you're always taught to expect the worst, and she does here. She expects Beret to miss it. She's alert to it. And that's what the best strikers do. They can be having one of the worst games they've played, but when it really matters, she comes up with the goods.
Shaw, who has had the opportunities, but she's remained patient. She's continued to back herself. And that's her 6th goal that she's scored against Leicester City in her Women's Super League career.
I can see the Leicester City players just consoling Beret, Thibault, and then Tierney, because they know how well she's played so far. She's a key reason that they did go so far with the scoreline at just 0-0. Football at this level is so savage, so cutthroat.
Well, of course, Leicester are fighting for everything, but Manchester City have so much to play for as well, as Olivia McLaughlin is back on her feet, but she will just head towards the sideline for now. But Manchester City heading for their 5th single goal victory of the season. And Rick Passmore will hope to do something about that. Sometimes you have to grind it out. Chelsea won 7 games 1-0 last season. Clinton. Bogino. 50 clearances for Leicester, but it's the one they didn't make, which may be the decisive one. Free kick conceded by Wahabi for the challenge on Goodwin. Kirsty Hansen has broken the deadlock at Brisbane Road. Aston Villa lead Tottenham by a goal to 0. Still 1-1 between Manchester City and West Ham. And Brighton have led London City Lionesses for a long time, but they are still ahead as they head towards the final 10 minutes. Rather binary look to the scoreboard so far today in the Women's Super League, with Chelsea against Everton still to come. Kanak. Now Rose. Can Leicester lift themselves here to try and create something at the other end, having spent so long looking to keep Manchester City out? Clinton. Good challenge by McLaughlin. Ole was on her outside, but she was just caught in the act of passing there. But if Manchester City remain ahead, Chelsea will kick off 6 points behind them.
Yeah, it just puts more pressure on the reigning champions again, who of course have the Champions League schedule to try and contend with as well.
Corner into the penalty area is cleared. Clinton. Carolyn. And it's hung up, and Leipzig rather got caught underneath that and has to pour it behind.
He just looked to totally misjudge it. Leipzig looked like it could have been an easy catch for the goalkeeper. One thought on Carolyn's mind to put it in first time, but yeah, just totally misjudges the flight, the goalkeeper. She's 6 foot. Former Bayern Munich goalkeeper, should be an easy claim. Now our team's under pressure from the corner.
Manchester City looking to finish things off. And it's headed towards goal by Shaw, but she was fouling as she did so. And it will be a free kick. Beth England has equalised for Spurs at home to Aston Villa within a minute of Kirsty Hansen putting Aston Villa into the lead. So it's 1-1 there. Villa have also have Deslons sent off in that game, so they're down to 10 players. Carolyn unable to receive the ball from Shaw, but with Carolyn on the pitch, Shaw does have the ability to drop shorter and try and link the play more. Tini. Ale. Now came up. Baril will find Goodwin in behind, looking for Van Egmond, and Yamashita is able to gather.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad looking ball forward. Van Egmond at one point looked favour to win it in behind Kanak, but good positioning again from Yamashita. Her speed off the line is impressive.
Dominic Janssen has put Manchester United 2-1 up against West Ham. That game is 15 minutes behind all of the other ones currently underway. That feels like a big goal for them. And of course, West Ham, one of the teams currently below Leicester in the table. Kasparai. Carolyn. Kasparai. Carolyn. Oh, she goes down under the challenge. And the referee has given a corner.
Well, do you know what? The referee is not sure, is she? If you watch the referee's body language here, whistle goes straight to mouth, and then she just has a little think about it. And you've seen them given. She steps across McLaughlin.
Well, McLaughlin doesn't touch the ball.
No, and there's a little bit of theatrics to go with the dive and heavy claims from Manchester City, but gave a corner in the end. The referee, she had a good, long, hard think about it, but you can understand why Manchester City feel aggrieved.
Hemp with the corner, and Shaw is there with the header, and that settles it. Bunny Shaw with her 4th header of the season, and Manchester City, thanks to their number 9, are striding clear at the top of the Women's Super League.
Well, possibly justice is served here for Manchester City. They didn't get the penalty, and it's as simple as it gets for Bunny Shaw. Business as usual. She got the golden boot last year, and you bet she wants it again this year. Simple cross, simple finish. Leipzig has been strong from her near post so far in this game, but they've been knocking on the door all afternoon, and you have to say it's probably deserved.
Her 8th goal of the season to seal Manchester City's 9th win in a row. And she's had to be patient, but eventually the goals have come. Bunny Shaw with 2 very late goals here for Manchester City, but Leicester held on for so long, but I think Rick Passmore will be disappointed to have finally been undone by a set piece.
Yeah, and you could hear him bellowing from the sideline. Every inch of instruction, every movement Manchester City made from midfield in wide areas. The players were reacting to it, but as that wears off, as they tire, as the match goes on, they only need a moment, Manchester City.
Nelly Lasova has come on for Leicester in the aftermath of that goal. And Rosella Ayan has also come on as well as they chase the game. Julie Thibault, the first player to be replaced by Lasova. But the game has gone here for Leicester. And it's cleared away. And then Goodwin will eventually help it back towards Leipzig. Carolyn has certainly helped to make a difference here. And Shaw on a hat-trick as Carolyn comes through, and it's beaten away by Leipzig. Carolyn again waiting for support, and in the end she goes for goal herself, and Leipzig makes the save.
Oh, credit to the goalkeeper. She stayed on her feet for an age, it seemed, Leipzig. And she has made one heck of a difference, Carolyn. I think it's Lars who's just come on, the 17-year-old, trying to do her best to either dispossess or even foul. And she's waiting for support, Carolyn. Decides to go on her own. Does really well, the keeper, to stay upright, stay central. Ray has a little nibble again.
The corner kick is very deep, and Leipzig has to palm that ball away almost underneath the crossbar, and the free kick has been given. Kanak tangling with her fellow German.
Yeah, I think she's copped one on the foot. I'm surprised a free kick wasn't given earlier. It's a wicked delivery right on top of the goalkeeper. Fagino's job is to make a nuisance of herself so that Leipzig can't come out. It's a good finish from Carolyn. Was never going to count because the whistle had long gone. It's definitely a foul on the keeper.
Olivia McLaughlin was the other player who went off for Leicester to be replaced by Rosala Ayan, the former Tottenham player, the Moroccan international. Clinton, Hemp. She was just caught there. Came and Fagino, Van Egmond, Tierney. Ayan in pursuit, but Kasparai will guide it back to Yamashita. Knack. Now Kasparai again. And we've got to the outcome that many people thought would happen in this game, but maybe not via the route we thought we'd get there.
No, and credit to Manchester City for staying patient as well and not becoming too frustrated and too impatient to the point where they really force it and get drawn into Leicester City's game. But in truth, it was always going to be a matter of when, not if, given how Leicester were playing. The deeper they were dropping, the more tired they were getting from the off-the-ball running, and how little they've offered in their offensive half.
Lauren Hemp now making way for Iman Bene, the teenage Swiss international. Scored the winner against Arsenal to really announce herself in the Women's Super League. Clinton, Wahabi, as we tick towards the 90th minute. Now Wahabi. Spurs look to have won their game against Villa in added time. Olivia Holt, they've come from behind, having conceded in the 84th minute. Carolyn, and now Cayman will clear. Fujino, Hasegawa. Well, they will block the cross, but City are hungry for more goals here. At the moment, their goal difference is 5 better than Chelsea. And you never know, it could come down to that. Hasegawa. But that would be a big win for Spurs, particularly in the manner of the way they've come back. Clinton. Fagino forced away from goal. Rose. And a minimum of 6 more minutes. That shot from Clinton is deflected and will loop behind for a corner kick. And City not easing up here.
No, they can smell blood, they want more. And again, credit to Jeglerts for the substitutes, but credit to them for coming on and just injecting a little bit of something. Yes, of course, you have to wear teams down, give respect to the opponents and condition them into one way of defending before you introduce certain skills and talents, but you really have added something and changed the dynamic.
Hasegawa with the corner. Shaw lurking, looking for that hat-trick. Carolyn with the volley. Blocked by Swaby. Carolyn again. Fagino. Carolyn. Harby, Gino, Kasparai. City are finally able to relax with that 2-goal lead and the point secured. Rose, Kasparai. It's all about damage limitation now for Leicester City. There's the low cross in, finding Shaw, and she puts it wide. And that was the hat-trick chance.
I think Shaw's probably wondering why Carolyn hasn't come on sooner. She's got one thought in her mind here, Carolyn, is to slow Arley down. She's always going to try and get to the byline. Sorry, it's Bene this time. Well, just when you think poor Leicester City have to cope with Carolyn on the left, it swoops out to the right-hand side. There's the first goal for Shaw. Big smile on her face, and wow, how she'd love to add a hat-trick to that. It was a good opportunity.
And she ran off her international teammate Swaby for the second one as well. Gino, that's handball. Well, she's had chances for 2 hat-tricks today, you have to say, but 2 more goals for her. And Ayan is offside. Kasparai. Now Clinton. Gino. Harby waiting for Bene to make the run, but Gino made that dart instead, but it's behind for a goal kick. And Khadija Shaw with 10 attempts, but she's always been a threat. She always comes back for more.
She's definitely not only one of the best strikers in the league, she's definitely one of the best strikers in world football right now. And it says a lot about her mindset as well, to go so long wasting chances, clear-cut chances for her team, but as you say, never goes away, never loses hope.
Clinton finding Shaw now. Carolyn! Brilliant! A third for Manchester City. And it's the Brazilian this time. And they finish with a flourish.
Well, the score returns provider this time, Bunny Shaw. What a difference a goal makes for her. And Leicester, they haven't lost too many one-on-one challenges today, but this one is just devastating. She drops in deep, and that is a perfect through ball. Brilliant run, and look at that for a finish. She doesn't even have to look. She knows Leipzig is going to come out and try and smother. And she certainly has put her hand up for a starting spot. Giving Andre Yeglers lots of headaches for his selection. So what an impact the Brazilian has had.
Her first of the season. And the goals have finally arrived for Manchester City. 3 in the final 16 minutes. The 17-year-old Lasova looking for Ayan, but it's covered by Kasparai. Tottenham have beaten Aston Villa by 2-1. They were a goal down with 5 minutes to play against 10 players, but that's a very good win for them. But Manchester City eventually getting the sort of scoreline many of their fans were hoping for on the way down here today. Tierney. But it's 8 games without a win for Leicester. Well, anything they would have taken here would have been a massive bonus. They remain in trouble towards the bottom, and they've got A home game with London City next, which may not be any easier. Manchester City will conclude the year at home to Aston Villa. As Van Egmond's header is comfortable for Yamashita. And that's it. 9 wins in a row for Manchester City. They had to be patient here today, but Bunny Shaw eventually scoring twice. And her reaction shows what it means. Carolyn rounding things off. And the message to Chelsea is catches if you can. Full time, Leicester City 0, Manchester City 3.
London City Lionesses 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. It's Manchester United 2, West Ham 1. That game is still playing. And it's Tottenham Hotspur 2, Aston Villa 1. Just a reminder of our final fixture of 2024.
And Bunny Shaw scoring her 7th and 8th goals of the season. And Andre Jeglerts can eventually smile, but I'm sure at one stage in the second half he would have been concerned.
Yeah, I think so. And I, for one, was wondering what took him so long to bring any of his impact players on off the bench, but that's why he's manager of the month. His time in to inject those, Grace Clinton and in particular Carolyn, back from injury. She was a star over in the States when she played there in the NWSL. MVP. Had a couple of years out, but what an impact and what a player to be able to bring on, along with the likes of Iman Benet and Grace Clinton. And ultimately, that's what won them the game.
But Leicester City defended so well for so long. But look, 30 shots for Manchester City. Eventually, 9 of those on target. Leicester with 58 clearances, 26 of those headed clearances. But one mistake, and that was it. Manchester City scoring 3 times in the final 16 minutes. And the scoreline looks more emphatic than maybe the game was as a whole, but there's no doubt that Manchester City were on top right from the start. But it took them some time to come up with a decisive moment. And here are the full-time highlights.
Celeste, drop one, Celeste,
Manchester City on the attack right from the start. Wahhabi here with the cross in, picking out Miedemar. And Leipzig was able to make the save after Miedemar did well in a congested area. And it was pretty much one-way traffic during the first half. Wahhabi with the delivery here, but only short. Too high, and for a long time there, it looked like it wasn't going to be her day.
Yeah, in all honesty, she had one of the poorer halves that we've seen so far in the season. Her manager knows her ability, keeps her on the pitch, knows that his team are going to create more and more chances as the match wears on.
Leipzig there with an excellent save to keep out Miedemar. Into the second half, City went to their bench. Carolyn's cross was missed by Burrell, and Shaw did the rest.
Yeah, just too much space for Carolyn. It's the first time we've seen any of the City wingers have a little bit of time and space to pick their head up and pick out a pass. It's not the best cross, but it's the first time the centre-back has missed a clearance.
And then from Hemp's corner, Shaw able to nod in the second.
She was being tightly marked by her international teammate Swaby, but too strong, too determined. And she heads it down, which is always difficult for the goalkeeper to judge.
And Carolyn maybe should have scored here. Had a couple of attempts. Leipzig making 2 saves.
Yeah, and actually it's the hook ball over the top from Shaw this time. That's what they do so well, the interchange. They don't just stay in the positions that they are put on in their formation. That's what makes them so difficult to play against.
And then Benet with a low ball in towards Shaw. And that was the chance to take the match ball.
Yeah, not an easy one, this one, on her left foot. She pulls away from Swaby really well, just can't direct it into that bottom corner.
But in the final moments, Clinton winning the ball there. Shaw spotting Carolyn's run. She was onside, and this time she made no mistake.
A wonderful finish. Threaded it through the eye of a needle, did Shaw. As Leicester tried to gamble, committed a few bodies forward. She's in too much space, but that is an inch-perfect pass and an inch-perfect finish.
3-0 the full-time score. Elsewhere, not too many goals today, but some important results in the Women's Super League. Brighton scoring early on and holding on at London City Lionesses to win 1-0 following Arsenal's victory over Liverpool yesterday. Manchester United are into added time, leading West Ham by 2-1. Dominic Janssen with what looks like the winning goal at the moment. And Tottenham coming from behind very late in the day. Kirsty Hansen giving Villa the lead after Deslande had been sent off with 6 minutes to play. Beth England equalised straight away, and Olivia Holt scoring the winner 5 minutes into added time. Chelsea against Everton is the later game. And Chelsea know they have work to do. They are 6 points clear when they kick off in around 25 minutes time. Manchester United back above Arsenal into third place. Tottenham now with a 4-point gap over London City Lionesses after their win and the Lionesses defeat. Leicester remaining 9th in the table. Of course, Everton meeting Chelsea later on today, and Liverpool will meet Aston Villa in their game, which was rearranged, and that comes up in midweek. And at the moment, it is very, very competitive in the top 5 for the Champions League places. And towards the bottom, Aston Villa will be disappointed to have lost in that manner today, but they remain comfortably above Liverpool at the moment. And let's get some reaction from Bunny Shaw after Manchester City's win today.
Bunny, congratulations. Was that today a case of patience and perseverance for Manchester City?
Yeah, I think especially in the first half we had a lot of chances, but we just couldn't find the back of the net. And I think half-time the manager was on us about being patient and finding the right areas and being in the right area, so when the ball goes wide to the cross, forget for the crosses. So I think second half we were a lot more patient and we found the pockets where he wanted us, and I think it showed with the 3 goals.
That's now 9 wins in a row for Manchester City. We know the quality in this squad, but is there a sense now that between the players you really can achieve something special this season?
Yeah, I think as the games go on and the performances that we put in, the confidence build, and I think as a team we know that we have the quality and we have the players that can go out and get the job done. We have to just stay healthy, continue to work hard on the pitch, and we know that when the chances come, we'll put it in the back of the net.
Another couple of goals for you today, but we know the high standards you set yourself. I get the sense that maybe you're just a touch disappointed you didn't walk off of there with more.
Yeah, very, very, very frustrated. Especially halftime, I was beating myself in the locker room about the chances. But like I said, I've always said it, and I think the players that I have, they always make me look good, and I just have to be ready for the crosses, especially with the wingers that we have. So yeah, I think overall good performance, and on to the next.
Does that just show the level that you're playing at personally at the moment? That's now more headed goals in the WSL than anyone else. Another couple to add to the bank, but the fact that you are disappointed walking off with 2 goals and a big 3 points, does that just tell everyone the level that you are performing at right now?
Yeah, I think for me, I hold myself to very, very, very high standards, and this game is done. I'm going to go watch back the video and see how I can be better and how I can continue to help the team. But yeah, I think for me, I think just being around the box, practicing, and the players that I have, building good relationships with them, and I think we've got there now, 9 wins on the bounce, and yeah, I think overall the team has been performing well, and I just have to do all the best that I can to help the team.
Well, speaking of levels, congratulations You are the Barclays WSL Player of the Match. Take
Thank
this.
you.
You've got a bunch of these already, so there's another one for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well played.
Thanks.
So a great day for Bunny Shaw in the end, with 2 goals in Manchester City's 3-0 win, and whatever happens, they will remain top of the Women's Super League tonight. Hope you enjoyed the game. From Nia Jones and Nigel Adderley, enjoy the rest of your weekend.